Hey everybody, Rob Orgel from Silencer Syndicate, and this is our last video of 2024. Wanted to wrap up what a year it's been for us, what evolutions and education we've had, and how lucky we've been to share and gain your support. So I want to start with the support. You guys have come forward with such great support for us by throwing those comments, the likes, the shares, subscribing to our channel. All of that has really helped YouTube understand that what we're doing is interesting, and it's shared that information with a lot larger of an audience. And as it grew and grew and grew, we've now seen almost 1.5 million views. We almost have 20,000 subscribers, and that is a lot for a girl who's not jumping on a trampoline kind of content, especially talking about these type things that YouTube doesn't really like us talking about. So it's because of your support we've really broke through that anti-2A algorithm. So we really appreciate you guys doing that. And along the way, while you've supported us, the industry started picking up attention too, because so many people were viewing our videos, they wanted to see, what are we doing? What's so interesting? And they too started supporting us because of your support. As they started paying attention, the questions started coming up. Why don't you have our suppressors on your channel? And so we started getting more and more silencers. I want to say we started with about 40 silencers, and I think that was around 9 months ago. Gosh, time goes by quick. About 9 months ago, we launched this channel with around 40 silencers. And now we have about 116 silencers with, I think, 7 more waiting for an ATF signature and around 40 some more on the way from different manufacturers. So it's because of your support, the industry started supporting us. And when the industry supported us, they sent us suppressors. And that was cool. We didn't expect that. But what we also didn't expect was a follow-up phone call with not just the marketing department, but their R&D. How did our silencers perform? How did they compare to the other ones? How can we make it better? And this is not a conversation I expected to have. And I really enjoyed sharing the insight with them, because as they're evolving into what we now have access to, and I'm talking about 3D printing, this 3D printing has changed the silencer world for us. All the guys who are doing the weld and old systems, I mean, I hate to say it, but if our silencers are 3 years old and they're not 3D printed, unless they're on a bolt action gun, they might be irrelevant now. We're really moving forward in this year 2024. And I'm thinking 2025 is going to bring a whole lot more cool stuff. And I'll tell you why I think that towards the tail end of the video. Now, having said that, one of the greatest developments we've had with 3D printing and of 2024 is low back pressure suppressors. And you say, well, we've had Huxworks and other low back pressure suppressors for quite some time. Well, we have, but they weren't quiet. And now they're actually low back pressure and quiet, because as Huxworks held that pedestal with low back pressure, everyone else started chomping at the bit, and this 3D printing truly unlocked that for us. So there are several silencers I want to talk about a little bit later in this video that truly impressed me, and were just not what I expected to find with how quiet and how low back pressure. Now, before I get into that, I want to talk about why we started our channel. Now, again, about 9 months ago, we decided, hey, I've got 40 some silencers. I've never put them head to head. Now, I've got quite a background. I spent 10 years in the military as an infantry rifleman. I was an instructor in the military for 3 years. I became a private military contractor, served in Baghdad, Iraq on a high threat contract as an instructor. I learned a lot through that 14-year career, not just as a professional, but also as an enthusiast. I love tinkering with stuff. I love playing with different things and seeing how well they pair. And suppressors was absolutely a huge part of that. So 9 months ago, I thought I knew a lot about silencers, and I would say that I was pretty knowledgeable at that time. However, I have learned so much more in these 9 months. And in fact, many of my buddies will tell you when they ask, hey, Rob, what silencer do you recommend? I would say something like, do you want to know what I know now? Or do you want to know what I'm going to know in 2 or 3 months? Because I'm learning so much so fast, and I'm being given access to so many more things, and I'm running tests constantly. So I really have learned a lot. And that's, again, back to you guys for your support and the industry for their support. And then coming back full circle and asking what kind of test results I found to report to you and to report to that industry. So when we started this 9 months ago, we had no idea we would be where we are today. And that's because of you all. So thank you. Next, we also have a whole lot of new can owners. As we look back on 2024, there was that, I don't know, what, October of last year, when all of a sudden cans went from like 9 months to 6 months to 2 months, and in some cases a couple weeks. And then coming into this year, a whole lot of guys who weren't willing to wait for Christmas all of a sudden got interested in buying suppressors. So we got a whole new plethora of can owners. Some gun enthusiasts, some only have one rifle, and these guys started getting hungry for information. So like you, hopefully we're sharing this information with those new shooters, and hopefully this channel has become a wealth of information for those new shooters, those new suppressor owners, or the guys thinking about buying, to learn what truly is effective and what is not effective. To be honest, I think the majority of cans I have, I'm not in love with. It's just the industry learns at the pace it does. And when we go back 2 or 3 years, those cans might not be valuable to the kind of things we can do now. So looking back, 116 silencers on hand, head-to-head testing. Let's talk about some of the tests we have done. We've done a belt-fed meltdown where we blew up 3 silencers in one night. I'm never doing that again because I definitely got carbon monoxide that night. It was fun. I learned a lot, and holy cow, what titanium can withstand blew my mind. I have a whole new respect for titanium suppressors. In fact, I kind of even wonder if Inconel is all that important to me anymore after completing that test. Muzzle flash. We took, I think it was 50 some odd silencers at night and tested how large the muzzle flash was as the human eye would see it. And we ran a long night of testing so that you all could have some quantifiable data. Now, if you're like me, I have a lot more silencers now. I want to see that test again. However, I want to make some tweaks to that test. But that was a lot of fun. Back pressure. You all who know me know that I hate back pressure, and I'm testing the heck out of it. I've come up with new systems to include testing a 6.5 Creedmoor, a 308, and even a 6mm Creedmoor to find out exactly how much back pressure we're going to get out of those rounds. We have begun that testing. I know you're all hungry for that video, but as always, it takes time not just to make the content, but we're running a whole bunch of tests before we make the content. So be patient with me. I appreciate your guys' support and your patience, because those videos, you're going to love them, and they're coming very soon. Some other tests that we've also done is mounting solutions. We talked a lot about how your suppressor mounts to your rifle, and you might not like that manufacturer, so you use this. As you all know from that video, ASR is kind of one of my favorites. If you want to see why, you'll have to check out that video. I'll make sure they're all in the description box below so you can find the videos I'm referring to. Now, when we did mounting solutions, we also looked at recoil reducing muzzle devices as it pertains to mounting solutions, so that not only when you have your suppressor, but when you don't have your suppressor, how much recoil are you going to feel? Then we went on a whole slew of other experiments, everything from K cans, the short ones, all the way to the rimfire cans, and testing them head to head on multiple platforms. Of course, now we have many more. Some of the next tests we're going to be doing is suppressor covers. That's the devices that protect you from burning yourself on your suppressor, seeing mirage in front of your rifle when you're firing, and a few other bonus things. We're going to go a deep dive. I think we're waiting for one more manufacturer to send us a device, and then the rest of them are already here, and some of the testing has already begun. So look forward to that video. I know a lot of comments say, hey, just recommend one real quick. I don't like short answers. I like to dive deep, and I'm in the process of diving very deep to that suppressor. In fact, one company came up with a coating that makes the suppressor not need a suppressor cover. So I don't know all the details of it yet. I just got the silencer, so I'll be doing that test very soon. Some other tests we're going to be doing is we're going to go much deeper, as I mentioned, into 6.5 Creedmoor, 6 Creedmoor, and 308. We're going to be testing those for back pressure and look for a king of the hill suppressor that rules them all, let's hope. And then we're going to be doing a deep dive into ambidextrous lower receivers, different AR-15s that have full ambidextrous lower receivers, and which one we like the best. We're also doing a test on bolt carrier groups as it pertains to suppressor. We've received a few different coatings on the bolt carrier groups, as well as different gas mitigation system on the bolt carrier groups, and some new ones that you might not have heard of yet. And the last topic you can look forward to, as we will have many more, but that I'll mention in this video, is going to be the pistol caliber carbines with integral suppressors. You'll see there's a few behind me. There is one more on the way, 2 more on the way that we're waiting for. As soon as we have them, we'll dive into that head-to-head testing, because I know you guys love shooting 9mm in your tiny little submachine guns. We'll have that video coming very soon, and much more. All right, before I transition into some of the suppressors that really surprised me, I want to mention one more test that I forgot about, and that's gas busting charging handles. We've got a handful of them on site. I think we're waiting for one more, and then I've come up with a way that I think will work to test how the gas busting charge handles actually work or don't. I have theories, but we will see. All right, some of the things that really surprised me. PTR, $1,500 their first year making silencers. I was not prepared to be happy, and I was super, super happy with the first suppressor they sent me, so I got the other 2, and I mean, they might be the best in class of those. It really surprised me with that. Off-Grid Armory, new company, haven't heard of them. They just sent me 3 silencers for testing, and so far I am super impressed with how lightweight, how quiet, how effective. Okay, a couple more. Huxworks. Huxworks with their low back pressure. Yeah, we know they've been doing it for a while, but it's not quiet. Now they have a full-size 5.56 flow, and it's surprisingly quiet. Much more testing to come, but so far I'm impressed by that guy. And finally, I think kind of one of my favorite names in the industry right now is B&T. Their rifles have always been great. Many of us don't know who they are because they're new to the United States as of about 3 years ago, but their silencers are, it's hard to keep up with what B&T is doing and how quickly they're evolving in their suppressors. And then I know you're all knocking on my door for the RD USA suppressors. I've been getting a lot of messages on my Facebook, my business page, etc. Like, hey, tell me more, tell me more. Here's my theory, guys. When you buy a new car, you don't know if it's a good car for at least a year. So give it some time. I don't need a whole year. I just need a couple more days on the range with it to see how it performs on different platforms before I make a statement like, I love this suppressor. And then one day somebody has a problem and they say that I'm full of it or something. So the RDUSAs are very interesting. So far, I think they're a little heavy, but they are very interesting suppressors and their design is like no one else's. So I'm going to do a lot more testing before I give you my results, but I'm hot on the works for that because I know you guys are hungry for that information. As always, guys, thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate you. It's because of you we've had the growth and the access to these devices. And if you look around, you see there's a whole lot of these devices floating. It took a while to unload everything and make it look right. So I hope you guys like the content. If you do, please do me a favor and tell me what your favorite video was so far. That means a lot to us. We really appreciate your guys' support. We'll see you in the comments section and stay safe.